Hey guys, quick video. This one's about colour schemes. I think I've decided on a final colour scheme, and this is how I went about it. Alright, so about 12 months ago I was lucky enough, so I'm in Australia for those who weren't aware. Live in Australia, in Victoria, Australia. This time last year I went over to America for a holiday and was lucky enough to coincidentally meet up with the Zenith guys first at the Midwest LSA Expo, which I think is coming up in a few weeks, around the 18th of September, something like that, at Mount Vernon, Illinois, I think. So caught up with the guys there, looked over the aircraft, fell in love with the Cruiser, and I've got my daughter at my feet here. Fell in love with the Cruiser and teed up to go. Already had an appointment booked through Joyce to go for a test flight in the CH750 Cruiser at the Zenith factory in Mexico, Missouri. Roger was good enough to sort of take me under his wing, took me out there for a fly, and I had a good chat to Sebastian as well. So yeah, I guess that's when I fell in love with the Cruiser. Having the opportunity to go to the factory, was fantastic, and to see the Zenith family that operate out of there was really good. I really liked the Cruiser, and initially I fell in love with the red and grey stripe on the Cruiser, that particular colour scheme. However, that's been done. I bought a lot of model aircraft over the time, so I try and do something a little bit different rather than do something that someone else has done or what's on the lid of the box. In the old days when you used to buy a kit and you dream that that's how your aeroplane's going to turn out, which has generally been done by a graphic designer. So part of the build process as well, so I'm 12 months into the, well not 12 months into the build, it's 12 months almost since I ordered the kit, about 400 hours into the kit, for those that have been following. And part of that process, I guess, is that balance with your family. So when I'm not building the kit, I sort of made sure that I was looking after my family. So at the moment, I'm a stay-at-home dad with this little tacker. This is Chloe. And when I'm not building the aeroplane, we're doing colouring in, and I'll design the colour scheme for the aircraft. And this is what I've come up with. Alright, so the colour scheme. Fell in love with the factory colour scheme, really liked that. Then I started a folder, and I basically, I found a three view drawing. Now some of these are pretty rough, but I found a 3-view or 2-view drawing and started just using my daughter's colouring in pencils, if you like. So I went with the factory sort of trim. One thing I did notice, I guess, and from my model aircraft sort of days, the aircraft sort of talks to you in one aspect, like it's a straight wedge sort of fuselage, so that tells me you sort of want straight lines. Not there's anything wrong with these curves, they look quite good, but I'm sort of decided I wanted straight lines on the straight wedge shaped surfaces. Then I went through different colour schemes, just different colours that I sort of had in my mind. Red, white and black. I've got green and blue and all sorts of colours. So this pile of paper I got here is just based on my final colours that I came up with. But I did the same sort of pile for each, for the red, white and black. I did similar sort of pile. Then I finally decided on my colours of black, orange and white, which are the colours I'm going to go for. So as I worked through all that, I just started doodling away. And for those who know me, I spent 30 years in the RAF. Then I decided with the orange and white sort of scheme, a Fantacan, which used to be the nickname for like the Mirage aircraft, which were from Arju, the CT4, the RAF CT4, like a Victor Air Tourer, and more importantly the Mackie, I guess, which were all orange and white. So you can see where this is going. I sort of came up towards a CT4 type of colour scheme, and in doing so as well, just playing with bands on the wings and whether I do separate flight controls, different colours, and just used, the wings would be symmetrical, but just to get 2 colour schemes onto the one page. Looking at these ideas, what I did decide on eventually, I'll just make the tailplane and the elevator. Or on a CT4, the flight controls, I'll throw a picture of a CT4 in the video when I find one. But on a CT4, the flight controls are, I think they're painted silver. So I considered doing polished aluminium on the flaperons and the elevator, just to add another dimension to the colour scheme, I guess. But I've since decided against that. So the stab will be all orange, and so will the flaperons will be all orange. Also, consideration for me was the least amount of masking, the better. So as we get further into this, that was a consideration that I had. Just some more colour designs, if you like, with the swirly type patterns. Now, I've nutted it out to black and white and orange, obviously, and you'll see my number. So I've registered it already, so it's 191656. So in the circuit, I'll be Cruiser 1656, which is a pretty cool sign. I think Zenith actually released a colouring in competition, so then I upgraded my pictures to literally do my own colouring in competition. So again, just playing with wing designs. One consideration I did have, I guess, was with the model aircraft, that I'll throw a picture in the video here, you actually stand over the aircraft, and you've got this view onto the top of the wings. So then I realised no one's going to see the top of the wings. Well, not intentionally anyway. So there's not much point doing a lot of effort on top of the wings or on top of the aircraft in general, as you would with a model aircraft. So still playing with these colours. As we work through, just different variants of the orange, black and white, getting fairly detailed. Also considering this skin is covered in rivets, so to mask up and over those rivets, there's a fair few that it's going to be unavoidable to miss a rivet, so you'll be masking over the top of the rivets. Working my way through now, paying more attention to different designs on the wings. Just playing around. I know from flying model gliders at 1500 metres or 1000 feet or something up in the sky, big differential, big bands and contrast is what you're after. But that was on top of the wings, and I sort of decided pretty much pointless. Sticking with the orange, checkers, played around with some checkers. Then I've sort of gone to the 3 view of the Zenith aircraft with the factory and drawn over with the factory colour scheme and drawn over the top. I like the idea of the poor man's landing light, if you like. So orange leading edge with a white band, but a decent white band, probably 12 inches or more, 300mm. To give that, while you're taxiing, you'll have a differential there. And with that white band, I still might do that, but I'm not sure if I'll do like a barber's pole, so it'll be angled inboard, and then if you look underside, it'll come back in this direction, or if it angles inboard and then back outboard on the underside. The trouble with doing that, you'd end up with a point on the leading edge. So this is just all the considerations I've had when designing my colour scheme. So if you see up here, if the band went inboard and then changed direction to go back outboard, yeah, you'd end up with a point. So I think I'd wrap it around like a barber's pole, so it's continually going inboard. So underneath the wing, it'd end up somewhere in there. And the good old Aussie Cruiser. Just using what I had available. So that's basically the design, with playing with the wing and just a gap, and to try and keep the masking down to a minimum. Those that have built one know that there's the wing leading edge skin, there's a join there, so I can get a nice crisp line if I mask up to that join, as well as just put the band on there. Also aids in if the wing is hanging from the trailing edge, when I spray it, I can spray it all white. Don't necessarily have to be 100% accurate on the leading edge, although it will all get sprayed white, and then put the orange trim on it. So just another consideration is how I'm actually going to paint the aircraft. Once again, just playing with fine-tuning it, how I'm going to work it all out. Little map of Australia there, my rough map of Australia. Playing with kangaroos, just to get some Aussie sort of stuff on there. Southern Cross, Aussie flag, and the black bonnet. The black bonnet starts to creep in now, but from the top, that's pretty much how the top will look. All orange tailplane, flaperons, leading edge with the gap. Now we're starting to get a lot closer. I think I need to follow I worked out I need to follow the contour of the windows a bit more accurately, and just different wing designs that I've gone through. This is getting very close to the final product. As I mentioned earlier, I think there's no advantage in putting trim up on top of the wing. The black bonnet, maybe a black spinner, kangaroo or a number on the cowl, registration number, which is a requirement. They're very particular on that as to the size and length it has to be, and just a normal sort of font. Kangaroos. Now these stripes here started creeping in. That's the international nationality insignia, and they're obviously that designates Australia. And there's a particular, I think it's 18 by 24 for a medium-sized aircraft. But there's a particular scale anyway that I do those 2 bars. And fine tuning, you can see how it's slowly coming to life. Just working out how it's going to look from the top. I've got some notes on there for the wraparound, the white gap in the leading edge, the nationality insignia, the tailplane, the registration. So then I considered with my masking, so the rudder will just be all white, then pick up from a point of sort of infinity from the corner of the fuselage down to the landing gear weldment. Mine's already white, and then possibly run across to the bottom sill of the door if that's actually level, and nick the bottom of the cowl. Considerations there as well is that the fit of the cowl, and then you have to line up the marks, but do it once and get it right. So that should work out well. As you can see, I just played with different swirls and different sort of angles. I like the idea of, so that says to me, Decathlon or Citabria type wing pattern. Just scribble them out when they sort of come to mind. I like the idea of, if you said Piper Cub, well, it's yellow with black letters, or a P51 Mustang. They all have those sort of synonymous paint schemes. Then I started just playing around, went off the orange for a while. There's a blue one, so a red obviously and a blue one, which look pretty neat. This is where I played with the idea of polishing. That's this aluminium tape on there. Polishing the flaperons in the elevator, and similar sort of scheme. So I've gone off the idea, I think I'll paint the flight controls. But the aluminium polish may look pretty good. RAF roundels, I think I'll leave them off. Just do the insignia or the nationality stripes, and possibly a number. 26 on the front there is 26, my favourite number. It's my birthday. Just the factory cruiser. And I got these, I think Mark Pencil Stanler put this one online. This is one I started to use now. It's a bit more believable. Colouring in contest. Then my final design ends up looking something like that. So, considerations: the spinner may change colour. Not too sure on the bonnet. That's obviously for glare on the RAF aircraft. I might do it gloss black, but then I'm going to get glare. If I do it flat black, consideration is the heat in the Aussie summer. 36-degree day with a hot engine under there, it's going to get pretty hot. Even to the, I've gone right down. I'll have black trim, orange stripe, and then the black bonnet. Extended the door down because I've got the bubble doors. And I'm not sure, let me know what you think. Whether I put the Southern Cross on the tail or leave it off. I know if you get a Southern Cross tattoo, you're a bit of a bogan. So it may look like a bit of a bogan. Apologies to my bogan mates, but that is the Aussie Cruiser, pretty much the final colour scheme that I'm going to go with. So I hope you enjoy that one. Thanks for watching.